My question is, when you're emailing an agency seeking representation, what are like do's and don'ts of what you should include in an email, but then also what you probably just best off leaving out of the email?
So before you've even got to the stage of emailing an agent, do your research. Make sure that you are writing specifically to agents that you feel you're most right for and are most right for you.
We always make sure that we read all emails and that we read all letters that we get. And we think that if you've taken the time to send something to us, then we want to make sure we've read it.
I think when you're writing for representation, you need to keep that email short and concise, to the point. Try not to include too much waffle, but trying to get a little bit of personality in there is also really helpful.
Say why you're writing to them, say what it is about the agency that appeals to you, and then say a bit about why you think you'd be a good fit for the agency. Maybe mention a couple of recent credits or experiences. Also make sure you include as much information as possible, so your Spotlight link or your CV if you're not on Spotlight, your link to your Showreel or vocal reel, or if you haven't, maybe some recent self-tapes. Just something to give us or agents as much of a 360 as possible.
We appreciate that you're not just writing to us, that you are writing to several other agents, but try not to CC us all in on the same email. And try and email the actual person that you're wanting to speak to, rather than just to whom it may concern, or sometimes getting the name wrong. Just a little tip, that's useful, thank you.
I think nowadays we all really like a colour headshot rather than black and white. I think it's really important to see what we actually look like, what our hair colour is and our skin tone, all those things. It's important, that's who you are. So we think that's really important. And we personally don't like to see lots of arms and things, lots of resting and arms on heads, etc. We want to see strong, clear expression. It's really, for us, we really like it when a headshot gives us a nod to the type of role that you would want to play. So for us, it's nice to see a clear definition rather than something that's maybe a bit more general, of just like a nice smiley and a nice kind of more straightforward look. We quite like a couple of shots that show real personality of who you are, and your own individual tastes and what you like to wear. If you have piercings, things like that, we love that. You should be showing that in a headshot. But maybe don't have to show that in all of them, especially if you wanted them to be considered for maybe period work, etc. But we think 4 or 5 different feeling looks for the kind of work you want to be doing moving forward. And for us, it's all about, again, showing personality. We really love to see personality in a headshot. That matters to us, and we think that really jumps off the page the other end as well.
What is it about a showreel that will keep an agent invested throughout the whole thing? Like, what are the key aspects and things that you look for within a showreel?
So what we are essentially looking for from a showreel is an example of somebody's ability to act naturally on screen, and a suggestion of the kind of characters or kind of productions that they could potentially appear in. So I think lengthwise it's always good maybe to have 2.5 minutes, something like that, and maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 scenes within that. So each individual scene shouldn't be too long, really. Should be about 30 seconds, just to make sure that we keep the attention of those that are watching it. And that's not just for us, it's for casting directors as well. I think sometimes people can go down the route of trying to show everything that they can do in one showreel. So there's all your high drama, there's your screaming, your shouting, your swearing, your shooting, you're doing drugs, etc. For us, that's a little bit too much. We prefer something subtler. So that's what we tend to look for in a showreel.
Social media is an important tool in today's society. It does hold a lot of power. It's not something that we look out for when we're signing somebody, to know how many followers they perhaps have. The only thing I think that we would look for is potential little red flags that maybe if somebody has been involved in an incident that has negatively impacted them, it would just be something that we would need to chat to them about and consider carefully, I suppose. how we would proceed with that. It's not something that we dictate to our clients that they have to be on social media. It's not something that we dictate they need to be saying certain things. It's very much your own personal platform to air your own views and opinions. We would just, I guess, remind you that everything that you do and say always has a consequence, and be prepared for whatever outcome it is if you are going to say something on social media.
No, we don't deliberately take time to make sure that our clients are doing certain things on social media. Again, it's their platform for their own voice. We are obviously connected to a lot of our clients on social media, on Instagram and Twitter especially. And so obviously we like things and add messages in a positive way. And I guess if we thought that, you know, they were struggling and they were having issues, we would maybe use that and go, oh, I hope they're okay, and use it to reach out. But other than that, no, we do not monitor their social media. It's your independent thing. We would much rather focus on getting our clients really interesting audition opportunities and work.
If you're talking to new clientele, is there anything that you're looking for in particular in terms of a certain spark, or just any type of demeanour that you're more attracted towards?
We certainly do look for a spark. I don't know if we have a specific spark we're looking for. Our approach to taking on potential new clients is twofold. Firstly, it's about the talent, about the ability, and again, it's very subjective. But if we watch someone, either their showreel, or we watch somebody live, or watch someone on a programme or self-tape, and they excite us or they interest us, and we feel there's something there, then that's really exciting for us. And then the second thing is to meet them and have a chat, and that's all about whether we vibe, whether we would all work well together. For us, it's as important, the person is as important as the talent, so to speak. So it's really important that we do spark off of each other, because we work so closely with our clients. It's a very personal relationship. It's a partnership.
Sometimes you can't always put your finger on it, but there is definitely a gut feeling that we all have, and we very much go with our guts. Luckily, we tend to have the same sort of guts, so that's quite nice. We tend to like the same people, which is very helpful when there's three of us.
So we are all in the same boat. Obviously, anything that affects our actors, it affects generally all the way up the ladder, all the way up to producers. So yes, it has affected agencies, and I know that some haven't been able to make it through because of that, which is a real shame. It's been a financially very difficult time, and also we've had to give some really awful news. Obviously when the pandemic hit, it was us having to make a lot of calls letting people know that their jobs were either on hold or that they were not going to go back, and that was obviously very difficult for our clients. We are, as I mentioned earlier, we're a personal management agency, so for us, when our clients are hurting about things, it hurts us too, and so we, as well as we were worried obviously for ourselves and other agencies, our main focus was to make sure that our clients are okay. But yes, I think the pandemic, in all fairness, has affected everybody, and the only way that we've managed to kind of focus and to keep going is to kind of stay as positive as possible and focus on the things we can do when we're too busy and we're going, oh, if only I had a bit of time to do that. Well, that's what the pandemic gave us, so we found a positive spin and we took that time to focus on those areas, and make sure that when everything starts opening back up again, that we are all ready to go and feel really happy about it and ready to move forward.
The biggest impact has been having to work from home. We work as a three here. We work together, we look after everyone between us, and the success of the company is kind of down to the dynamics of the three of us working together and bouncing ideas off each other and discussing things, and sometimes, yes, arguing. We don't always agree with each other, but that's not a negative thing, it's a very positive thing. because everything gets discussed. No one's making unilateral decisions. We're here to challenge each other, which I think is really good.
I guess the main thing that has changed is not being able to go and watch productions quite the same. We're normally all over the place, in the car, on the train. So we've been stationary now for quite a while. But we've been watching a lot of showcases online and productions, and they've been brilliant. I think colleges and universities have all done such a good job at kind of finding a different way to still showcase the talent that they have from last year and this year coming forward. So we've just made sure we watch all of those. Our meetings are all on Zoom, like everybody else, and we've done some workshops and things. So for us, it's just been very much on a screen, but we have carried on business as normal all the way through the pandemic. We did not take time to stop.
It was really hard, but then things happened. People started doing shows online and people came together, and so we just had to adapt and go with it. And we're fortunate enough that we like to be there for the longevity of our clients' careers, so they adapt and they always want to try new things. So we're used to adapting and changing, and so we kind of seen it as a positive that actually we can actually do this. If it ever happens again, we know how to do it, we know how to get through and still work and maintain those relationships.
That's hard. I probably haven't deliberately thought too much past that, purely because I don't want to be disappointed. But for me, I think watching live performance is really special to me.
So yeah, in 10 years' time, when it's normal again, hopefully it'll be sooner than that. For me personally, our little company is and our clients are I said it before, we're like a little family, and a couple of times a year we try to get everyone together for a social event, once in the summer, once at Christmas time, and obviously for the past year it feels like we've been unable to do that. We have done some kind of Zoom catch-ups like everyone has, those doing quizzes every week, but we have done it that way. But I miss people. I miss seeing our clients in the flesh and having a drink with them and having a laugh and just enjoying each other's company. So that's the first thing I'm doing, is organising a party, and you are all invited. It's not
So for us, we have just, as we've stayed open the whole time, the main thing is we have offered that we are always there. So anytime our client's having a bit of a wobble, or they are just feeling really productive and or proactive and they just want to throw some ideas at us or try different things, we are here for all of that. So we have been very vocal and sent constant emails, whether people were ready to discuss them or not, that was completely their choice, but to keep reminding our clients that we were there, and if they need us for anything, we are there to kind of do that. We did Zoom kind of gatherings, which were lovely, just for like kind of 10-minute slots at a time, where we could just all have a bit of a chat and then catch up. We did a few little mini quizzes on that, and a Christmas gathering, a bit of silliness, because it's important to kind of keep laughing and smiling through all of this, and to remind yourself that even though we might feel very alone at the moment, we're all part of something bigger.
Some people were very shut off and went home and were either alone or were in a difficult position. So knowing that at any point they can pick up the phone to us and we're there, we can listen, we can help as much as we can to make their day go by a little bit faster and easier. That was our job, and hopefully we've achieved some nice memories over that time.
So self-tapes were becoming quite important anyway, obviously more so in screen before the pandemic, but there were also some musical theatre ones done as well. Since the pandemic, obviously everything has gone online, so self-tapes are super important, and I think the expectation is certainly higher now that everyone is now doing a lot more self-tapes. So for us, we think self-tapes will still be here very much after the pandemic, and so I think it's really important that you make sure that you are self-tape ready, because some of them are very quick and they want them the next day. Some of them you get a bit longer. But if you can take the time to make sure you've got all of the tools that you need, and that you have the technical side of it sorted, it means that you can just focus on the script and the role or the song that you are going to do, and you're ready to go to give your best performance.